They'll tell you a witcher came to Murky Waters and made peace between men and the things in the lake. They'll leave out who paid for it. Peace is never free. Somebody always settles the bill. Let me tell you who. My name is Stenko. I have fished this lake 60 years, same as my father, same as his. I know its moods the way you know a wife. When it will give, when it will take, when it lies quiet and means nothing good by it. Murky Waters is a small place, 40 roofs, a shrine to the lady, a tavern that runs dry by midwinter. We are not a clever village. We catch fish, we smoke fish, we trade fish to the merchants who come up the river, and we pray the lake stays kind. That spring, it stopped being kind. The nets came up empty, then they came up torn. Then old Mirka's boy went out at dusk and didn't come back, and what came back was an oar, split clean, and a smell on the water that wasn't fish. The vodyanoi had turned, the fishmen. We had shared the lake with them my whole life. They kept the deep, we kept the shallows, and we did not speak of each other. Now they were killing. A whole boat of Reardon's men dragged under in sight of the shore, and no one knew why. I knew why. I had seen it, the thing nobody wanted named. Here is the thing the songs forget. When the lake stops feeding you, you do not turn noble, you turn hungry. And hunger makes a man listen to anyone who promises a full net. There was a man among us, I'll not give him his name, he doesn't deserve carrying, who said he had heard the vodyanoi, said their god, the deep one, Dagon, was angry, said the killings would stop, said all the lake wanted was what it had always wanted, and we had simply forgotten how to pay. Blood for the deep, he told us. 1 life given freely, and 40 live. That is the bargain. That is all it ever was. I want you to understand, these were not wicked people. These were my neighbors, people I had shared bread with, buried kin with. They had children with cheeks gone hollow. And here was a man telling them their children could eat if the lake just got its due. Some of them believed it because they wanted it true. The rest believed it because the alternative was a winter of empty pots and small graves. I did not believe it, but I did not stand up either. There is a saying we have, my father's saying, lesser evils still evil, but it's the one you live through. I told myself that, sitting in the reeds, saying nothing while they planned a murder they called a prayer. I was old. I was tired. I wanted to live through the winter. The merchant's daughter was called Alina. She was not of us. Her father traded up and down the river, rich folk, summer folk. She had a sister, Selina, who loved the same man Alina was promised to. And a suitor she had thrown over, a local lad named Adam, who watched her the way a dog watches a closing door. Village business. Jealous, ordinary human business. None of it had anything to do with the lake. I was 40 yards off hauling a thin catch when I heard the second boat. Voices rising. 2 women, Alina and Selina both, out on the water, screaming at each other over a man. The boat rocking. A flash of a fine cloak. And then, Alina was in the lake. Here was my choice. The one nobody sings about. I could have rowed. 40 yards. An old man's arms, but I had rowed worse in worse weather. I might have reached her. I might have pulled her out, this stranger's daughter, this summer girl who had never said a word to me. But the deep one wanted blood. The man in the reeds had said so. 1 life freely given, and 40 live. And here was a life the lake was taking on its own. A stranger's life, not one of ours, not a child of the village. If I sat still, if I let the water have her, then maybe the bargain was paid. Maybe my neighbors would not have to choose one of their own. Maybe no village child would be walked down to the shore in the dark. I told myself she was already gone. I told myself I was too old, too far. I told myself the lake had chosen, and who was I to argue with the lake? I sat in my boat, and I watched a girl drown, and I called my cowardice a sacrifice. That is the truest thing I will ever tell you. She went under. The fine cloak spread on the surface a moment, like a stain, and then it sank too. You know how it ends. You came for the legend. A witcher had come to Murky Waters, white-haired, cold-eyed, the medallion at his throat that twitched near magic like a dowsing rod. He went out to Black Turn Island, to the Lady of the Water herself, and she asked him the question we had all been too frightened to ask. Which side is right? And he gave the answer no one in the village had the courage to give. Neither. Make peace. The men were wrong to fish the deep. The vodyanoi were wrong to kill. And the blood cult was wrong about everything. There was no bargain. There had never been a bargain. Dagon wanted nothing we could give him that would ever be enough. The killings stopped. The lake went quiet. Men and fishmen kept their distance and called it peace. And Alina? Alina had drowned for nothing. Not for the lake, not for the bargain, not for the village. Her sister had killed her in a jealous rage, and her old suitor Adam killed the sister in turn, and the whole bloody knot of it was just people. Just small, hungry, jealous people doing what people do. The lake never wanted her at all. I wanted her. I wanted her dead so I would not have to watch my neighbors drown a child of their own. I had paid a price to a god that did not exist. They say her spirit walks the fields now at noon, when the heat shimmers and the harvesters faint. A noon wraith, a girl who died unwed and angry. Sometimes I go out to the edge of the rye at midday, and I stand in the white light and I wait. I want her to come for me. I do. I think it would be a mercy. She never does. The water took her wrath and left me my mornings. That is the cruelest thing the lady ever did. The witcher rode out, and the lake went still, and the village lived through the winter. The great folk got their peace. The girl got her grave, and the old man got the morning after. Every morning for the rest of his life.